You're living in the wrong timeline. How to make the quantum leap to abundance. What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, you're living in one of infinite possible timelines, and the timeline you're experiencing is just one version of reality among countless others? What if the financial struggle you're facing isn't inevitable or permanent, but simply a characteristic of the specific timeline you've been locked into through your habitual thought patterns and frequency? And what if you could make a quantum leap, an instantaneous shift, from your current timeline of scarcity into a parallel timeline where abundance is your natural state? This isn't science fiction. This is quantum physics applied to your financial reality, and it's about to change everything you thought you knew about wealth creation. In quantum mechanics, there's a concept called the many worlds interpretation, which suggests that all possible realities exist simultaneously. Every choice you could make, every outcome that could happen, every version of your life, they all exist right now as actual realities in parallel timelines. The timeline where you're struggling financially exists. The timeline where you're comfortable exists. The timeline where you're wealthy exists. The timeline where you're abundantly rich beyond your current imagination exists. These aren't future possibilities that might happen. These are present realities existing right now in the quantum field, and you're experiencing whichever timeline matches your dominant frequency. Here's the revolutionary truth. Every time you think a thought of scarcity, every time you feel the emotion of lack, every time you speak words of limitation, you're anchoring yourself in a timeline of financial struggle. You're not creating scarcity in your timeline, you're choosing to remain in the timeline where scarcity already exists. Conversely, every time you think thoughts of abundance, feel emotions of wealth, speak words of prosperity, you're shifting toward a timeline where abundance already exists. You're not creating wealth from nothing, you're quantum leaping into a parallel reality where that wealth is already present. This is why some people seem to experience sudden, dramatic financial breakthroughs that defy logical explanation. They didn't slowly build wealth over time. They made a quantum leap from one timeline to another. One day they were struggling, and seemingly overnight, everything changed. They received an unexpected inheritance. A business opportunity appeared out of nowhere. They met someone who connected them to wealth. These aren't random lucky breaks. These are quantum leaps. Moments when someone's frequency shifted so dramatically that they literally jumped timelines into a reality where different circumstances existed. The question is, what timeline are you currently locked into, and how do you make the leap to the timeline of abundance? Most people are unconsciously locked into their scarcity timeline through repetitive thought patterns that keep them vibrating at the frequency of lack. Every morning they wake up and immediately think about their financial problems. They check their bank account with anxiety. They worry about bills. They complain about prices. They resent wealthy people. They tell stories of struggle. And every single one of these thoughts and emotions is a vote for staying in the scarcity timeline. They're unconsciously choosing, moment by moment, to remain exactly where they are. But here's the power. You can make a different choice. You can consciously decide to shift your frequency so dramatically that you quantum leap into a different timeline. This isn't gradual improvement. This isn't slow progress over years. This is an instantaneous shift into a parallel reality where different circumstances already exist. The mechanics are simple. Sustained focus on the reality you want to experience, combined with the emotions of already living in that reality, creates a frequency match that causes you to jump timelines. When your frequency changes dramatically enough, your reality must change to match it. You literally shift dimensions. Think about it this way. Right now, you're tuned to a specific frequency like a radio tuned to a specific station. The station you're tuned to is playing the scarcity program, struggle, limitation, difficulty. But there are other stations broadcasting right now. There's a station playing the abundance program, ease, prosperity, overflow. You're not hearing that station because you're not tuned to its frequency. But the moment you change your frequency, the moment you shift your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs to match abundance, you automatically tune into that timeline. The abundance station has been broadcasting all along. You just weren't tuned to it. The quantum leap to abundance isn't about creating something new. It's about shifting into what already exists. And that shift can happen in an instant when you understand the mechanics and apply them with consistency and conviction. You're about to learn exactly how to make that leap. The mechanics of timeline shifting. Let's dive into the actual mechanics of how timeline shifting works so you can consciously engineer your quantum leap to abundance. Understanding the physics behind this process removes the mystery and gives you practical tools for deliberately jumping timelines. In quantum physics, your consciousness doesn't just observe reality. It selects which reality you experience from infinite possibilities. Every moment, you're making micro-selections that either keep you in your current timeline or shift you toward a different one. These selections happen through your focus, your emotion, and your expectation. Your focus is like a spotlight that illuminates specific aspects of reality while leaving others in darkness. Whatever you focus on consistently becomes more prominent in your experience. If you focus on lack, noticing what you don't have, dwelling on financial problems, obsessing over limitations, you strengthen your connection to the scarcity timeline. Your focus is literally selecting that timeline over all others. If you focus on abundance, noticing what you do have, appreciating financial wins, imagining expanded possibilities, you strengthen your connection to the abundance timeline. Your focus is selecting that timeline instead. Focus is selection. What you consistently give your attention to is what you experience more of. Your emotion is the accelerator of timeline shifting. Thoughts focus you in a direction, but emotions propel you there with speed and power. When you think about scarcity with strong negative emotion, fear, anxiety, resentment, you quantum leap deeper into the scarcity timeline. The emotional intensity locks you into that reality. When you think about abundance with strong positive emotion, excitement, gratitude, certainty, you quantum leap toward the abundance timeline. The emotional intensity pulls you into that reality. This is why visualization without emotion doesn't work. You're attempting to shift timelines using only focus, without the emotional propulsion necessary to actually make the leap. Your expectation is the stabilizing force that keeps you in a timeline. Expectation is different from hope or wish. Hope says, maybe this will happen. Expectation says, this is happening. When you expect scarcity, when you genuinely anticipate struggle and limitation as your inevitable experience, you stabilize yourself in the scarcity timeline. Your expectation creates a gravitational pull that keeps you there. When you expect abundance, when you genuinely anticipate prosperity and ease as your inevitable experience, you stabilize yourself in the abundance timeline. Your expectation anchors you there. Most people say they want abundance but actually expect scarcity, which is why they never shift timelines. Their expectation is stronger than their desire. Here's where it gets really interesting. There are quantum decision points throughout your day, moments when multiple timelines converge and you have the opportunity to make a clear choice about which timeline to lock into. These decision points often come during challenges or unexpected circumstances. Someone cancels a meeting. An unexpected expense arises. An opportunity appears. In these moments, you can respond from scarcity or abundance, and your response determines which timeline you strengthen. Scarcity response: this always happens to me. I knew this wouldn't work out. I can't catch a break. This response locks you into the scarcity timeline. Abundance response: this is redirecting me towards something better. Everything is working out for my highest good. New opportunities are coming. This response shifts you toward the abundance timeline. Timeline shifting also requires you to release attachment to your current timeline story. Most people are deeply invested in their struggle story. It's part of their identity. They tell it repeatedly. They use it to explain why they are where they are. But every time you tell your struggle story, you reinforce your connection to the struggle timeline. You're choosing to stay there through your narrative. To make a quantum leap, you must be willing to release that story entirely. Not deny that it happened, but release its hold on your present and future. Create a new story. I used to experience financial struggle, and that taught me valuable lessons. Now I'm in the process of quantum leaping into abundance, and evidence of this shift is appearing daily. This new story opens the door to a new timeline. Another critical aspect is understanding that timeline shifting isn't linear. You don't gradually move from scarcity to abundance like climbing a ladder. You quantum leap. You jump from one reality to another in an instant. One moment you're in one timeline, the next moment you're in another. The shift happens at the moment your frequency changes dramatically. This is why people experience sudden breakthroughs. They weren't slowly building to that moment. They made an instantaneous quantum leap when their frequency shifted past a threshold. Your job is to create the frequency shift that causes the leap. The mechanics require consistency in 3 areas: thought management, emotional calibration, and behavioral alignment. You must consistently think thoughts that match the abundance timeline, not occasionally. You must consistently feel emotions that match the abundance timeline, not just during morning practice. You must consistently behave in ways that match the abundance timeline, not just when it's convenient. This consistency creates coherence, and coherence creates the powerful frequency shift that causes timeline leaping. Inconsistency keeps you bouncing between timelines, never fully stabilizing in abundance. Identifying your current timeline. Before you can leap to a new timeline, you need to see clearly which timeline you're currently locked into. Most people are unconscious of their timeline, which means they're experiencing it by default rather than by design. So let's do a clear assessment of your current financial timeline to understand exactly what needs to shift. Your current timeline has specific characteristics that reveal which reality you're experiencing. First, examine your dominant thoughts about money. Not what you wish you thought, but what you actually think throughout the day. In the scarcity timeline, dominant thoughts include, "I never have enough. Money is so hard to make. I can't afford that. Why does this always happen to me? Other people are lucky but I'm not. I'll never get ahead." These thoughts aren't just negative, they're timeline identifiers. They tell you that you're locked into the scarcity timeline. In the abundance timeline, dominant thoughts include, "Money flows to me easily. I always have what I need. Opportunities are everywhere. Things work out for me. I'm financially blessed. Abundance is my natural state." These thoughts identify the abundance timeline. Which set of thoughts dominates your mental space most of the time? Second, examine your emotional baseline around money. What do you feel most consistently when you think about your finances? In the scarcity timeline, the emotional baseline is anxiety, fear, stress, frustration, or resentment. You might have moments of hope, but the underlying emotional tone is negative. This emotional signature is broadcasting the frequency of the scarcity timeline. In the abundance timeline, the emotional baseline is peace, trust, gratitude, excitement, or confidence. You might have moments of concern, but the underlying emotional tone is positive. This emotional signature broadcasts the frequency of the abundance timeline. Which emotional baseline describes your consistent experience? Third, look at your behavioral patterns. How do you actually behave with money on a consistent basis? In the scarcity timeline, behaviors include checking your account compulsively from anxiety, avoiding looking at your finances from fear, making desperate decisions, hoarding money from scarcity, or spending impulsively to compensate for feeling deprived. In the abundance timeline, behaviors include managing money confidently, making aligned decisions calmly, investing in yourself readily, saving from wisdom rather than fear, spending consciously and joyfully. Your habitual behaviors reveal which timeline you're experiencing because behavior is the physical manifestation of your frequency. Fourth, examine the evidence in your life. What's actually showing up in your financial reality? In the scarcity timeline, evidence includes irregular income, unexpected expenses constantly appearing, opportunities falling through at the last minute, feeling like you're always behind, struggling to make ends meet, limited opportunities. In the abundance timeline, evidence includes consistent or increasing income, unexpected money appearing, opportunities materializing easily, feeling financially secure, having more than enough, abundant opportunities. Your current evidence isn't random. It's a perfect reflection of the timeline you've been locked into through your frequency. Fifth, notice your response to other people's abundance. When you see someone else experiencing financial success, what's your immediate reaction? In the scarcity timeline, the reaction is often envy, resentment, or the belief that their success somehow diminishes your possibilities. You might think, that's not fair, or that could never happen to me, or they must have connections I don't have. This reaction reinforces scarcity timeline thinking. In the abundance timeline, the reaction is inspiration, celebration, or the belief that their success proves what's possible. You think, if they can do it, so can I, or their abundance inspires me, or there's plenty for everyone. This reaction aligns with abundance timeline thinking. Finally, assess your future orientation. When you imagine your financial future, what do you see? In the scarcity timeline, you likely imagine continued struggle, perhaps slight improvement but nothing dramatic, more of the same challenges, or you can't even imagine a prosperous future because it feels too unrealistic. In the abundance timeline, you clearly imagine prosperity, you see yourself thriving financially, you expect your situation to improve dramatically, and abundance feels possible and even inevitable. Your vision of your future reveals which timeline you're currently aligned with. This assessment isn't about judgment. It's about clarity. Most people discover they're locked into the scarcity timeline, which explains why their financial reality hasn't shifted despite their efforts. But now you know. And knowing is power because you can't shift what you don't see. Your current timeline is simply the result of your habitual frequency. Change your frequency, and you'll quantum leap to a different timeline where different circumstances already exist. The Quantum Leap Protocol, Shifting Timelines. Now let's get into the practical protocol for making your quantum leap from the scarcity timeline to the abundance timeline. This isn't theory. This is the exact process that creates timeline shifts when applied with consistency and commitment. The protocol has 5 essential components that work together to create the frequency shift necessary for jumping timelines. You need all 5 components working in coordination, not just 1 or 2. Component 1 is timeline visualization. Every morning, spend 10 minutes vividly experiencing life in the abundance timeline. Don't visualize it as something separate from you or in the future. Experience it as the reality you're living right now. See your bank account with the balance you desire. Feel the emotions of financial freedom. Hear conversations about your success. Touch the things that exist in your abundant timeline. Smell and taste the experiences of prosperity. Make it so real that your brain cannot distinguish between the visualization and actual memory. This isn't daydreaming. This is quantum observation that begins pulling you into that timeline. The more real you make it, the stronger the magnetic pull toward that reality. Component 2 is immediate thought correction. Throughout your day, you'll notice scarcity thoughts arising. This is normal because you've been practicing those thoughts for years. But now, the moment you notice a scarcity thought, you immediately interrupt it and replace it with an abundance thought. Scarcity thought. I can't afford this. Immediate correction. Money flows to me easily, and I can have what I desire. Scarcity thought. This never works out for me. Immediate correction. Everything is working out for my highest good. This isn't toxic positivity or denial. This is conscious timeline selection. Every thought is a vote for which timeline you stabilize in. Vote for abundance consistently throughout your day. Component 3 is emotional hijacking. This is where you consciously hijack your emotional state when you notice you've dropped into scarcity emotions. The moment you feel anxiety, fear, or frustration about money, you stop what you're doing and spend 2 minutes consciously generating an abundance emotion. Close your eyes, take deep breaths, and generate gratitude, excitement, or peace in your body. Feel it as intensely as possible. This emotional shift literally changes your frequency in that moment, which nudges you toward the abundance timeline. Do this every single time you notice scarcity emotions. You're training your nervous system to default to abundance frequency instead of scarcity frequency. Component 4 is identity anchoring. Create a clear statement of who you are in the abundance timeline, and speak this statement multiple times throughout your day with conviction and feeling. Example: I am someone who lives in the abundance timeline. Money flows to me effortlessly from multiple sources. I make decisions with confidence and clarity. Opportunities appear constantly in my life. I am financially free, abundant, and prosperous. This is who I am. Speak this with absolute certainty, as if describing current reality, not future hope. This declaration anchors your identity in the abundance timeline, making the leap easier because identity determines which timeline feels natural to you. Component 5 is evidence obsession. In the abundance timeline, evidence of prosperity appears regularly. Start noticing that evidence now, even if it seems small. Someone buys you coffee, that's evidence. You find $1 on the ground, that's evidence. A bill is lower than expected, that's evidence. You have a good financial idea, that's evidence. Any form of abundance, no matter how minor, gets acknowledged enthusiastically. This is evidence that I'm shifting into the abundance timeline. This practice does two critical things. It trains your brain to notice abundance instead of lack, and it reinforces your belief that the timeline shift is happening, which accelerates the shift. Beyond these 5 daily components, there are quantum leap accelerators, practices that can dramatically speed up your timeline shift. One powerful accelerator is the decision from the endpoint. When facing any decision, ask yourself, what would I choose if I were already living in the abundance timeline? Then make that choice, even if it feels uncomfortable from your current timeline perspective. Maybe the abundance timeline version of you would invest in that opportunity, say no to that underpaid work, or spend confidently on quality. Make those choices now. Each endpoint decision is a quantum leap micromoment that shifts you closer to that timeline. Another accelerator is burning the bridge to your old timeline. This means consciously and deliberately releasing your attachment to your scarcity story. Write out your entire scarcity narrative. All the reasons you've believed you struggle with money, all the evidence you've collected, all the identity you've built around limitation. Then literally burn that paper, safely, or ceremonially destroy it while declaring, I release this timeline. It no longer defines me. I am quantum leaping into abundance. This ritual creates a clear, energetic break from the old timeline, making space for the new one. A third accelerator is surrounding yourself with abundance timeline frequency. Who in your life is already living in the abundance timeline? Spend more time with them. What content reflects the abundance timeline? Consume that instead of scarcity-focused news and complaints. What environments feel abundant? Spend time there. You're literally tuning your frequency by surrounding yourself with the frequency you want to match. The more you immerse yourself in abundance frequency, the faster you quantum leap into that timeline. The protocol works through consistency. One day of practice won't shift timelines, but 30 days of consistent practice, daily visualization, constant thought correction, regular emotional hijacking, repeated identity anchoring, and obsessive evidence collection creates the sustained frequency shift that causes a quantum leap. You'll know the leap has happened when you notice your circumstances changing in ways that feel sudden or surprising. Money appears. Opportunities materialize. Your internal state feels completely different. You've shifted timelines. Living in the abundance timeline. Now let's explore what life looks like after you've successfully quantum leaped into the abundance timeline, because understanding the destination helps you navigate the journey. When you've shifted timelines, your entire experience of reality changes, not gradually, but suddenly. You're literally living in a different dimension where different laws seem to apply to you. What felt impossible in the scarcity timeline becomes natural in the abundance timeline. What required struggle before now flows with ease. The first thing you'll notice is that your internal experience is completely different. The chronic anxiety about money that used to run constantly in the background is simply gone. Not suppressed or managed, actually gone. You think about money with peace and confidence. When you check your account, there's no fear, just calm awareness. When opportunities arise, you feel excited rather than skeptical. When challenges appear, you feel confident you'll handle them rather than panicked. This internal shift is the clearest sign that you've changed timelines because your baseline frequency has fundamentally changed. Money starts showing up differently in the abundance timeline. Instead of having to chase every dollar, money begins finding you. Someone reaches out with an unexpected opportunity. A past client returns with new work. An investment pays off better than anticipated. You receive a refund you forgot about. Money flows from multiple directions rather than one strained source. And the flow feels easier. Less effort produces better results because you're aligned with the currents of the abundance timeline rather than swimming against the currents of scarcity. Your decisions become clear and confident in this new timeline. In the scarcity timeline, every financial decision was agonizing because you were deciding from fear. In the abundance timeline, decisions are clear because you're deciding from trust and intuition. You know what's right for you quickly. You say yes to aligned opportunities without second guessing. You say no to misaligned situations without guilt. You invest in yourself readily because you know you're worth it and it will return multiplied. This clarity accelerates your success because you're no longer wasting energy on indecision or wrong choices. Opportunities multiply in the abundance timeline. In the scarcity timeline, opportunities were rare and you felt desperate to grab whatever appeared. In the abundance timeline, opportunities appear regularly and you have the luxury of choosing which ones align with your vision. You're invited to collaborate. People want to work with you. Possibilities emerge that you didn't even seek. This isn't because you're suddenly more talented or connected, it's because you're broadcasting a frequency that attracts opportunities. You've become magnetic to prosperity. Synchronicities become your new normal. The right person appears at the right time. You think of something and it manifests quickly. Resources show up exactly when needed. Conversations lead to unexpected connections. Things line up with perfect timing regularly. In the scarcity timeline, you might have felt unlucky or like things never worked out. In the abundance timeline, you feel blessed and supported by life itself. These synchronicities aren't random, they're the natural result of being aligned with flow rather than resistance. Your relationships shift because you're in a different timeline. Some people who were in your life during your scarcity timeline may naturally fade away because you're no longer a frequency match. This isn't loss, it's alignment. New people enter who match your abundance frequency. People who are also successful, positive, growth-oriented. Your conversations change. Instead of complaining about problems, you discuss possibilities. Instead of commiserating about struggle, you celebrate wins. You're surrounded by people who reinforce your abundance timeline rather than pulling you back to scarcity. Your resilience transforms in the abundance timeline. Challenges still occur. Shifting timelines doesn't eliminate all obstacles, but your response to challenges is completely different. What would have devastated you in the scarcity timeline barely phases you in the abundance timeline. You trust that challenges are temporary and that solutions will appear. You don't spiral into fear and doubt. You maintain your frequency even during difficulty, which allows you to navigate challenges from wisdom rather than panic. This resilience becomes one of your greatest assets. Perhaps most importantly, you develop unshakable certainty that you're living in a different reality now. You can feel it in your body. You can see it in your circumstances. You know something fundamental has shifted. This certainty creates a self-reinforcing loop. Your certainty strengthens your frequency, which stabilizes you more deeply in the abundance timeline, which produces more evidence, which strengthens your certainty even more. You're not trying to maintain the timeline, you're simply living in it naturally. Here's the truth I want you to carry forward. You are not stuck in the timeline you're currently experiencing. The scarcity timeline is not your destiny or your truth. It's simply one possible reality among infinite options. The abundance timeline exists right now, fully formed, broadcasting at a specific frequency, waiting for you to tune into it. Every moment, you're choosing which timeline to experience through your thoughts, emotions, and focus. Most people make this choice unconsciously, which is why they stay stuck. But you now know how to make this choice consciously and deliberately. The quantum leap to abundance isn't about creating something new. It's about shifting into what already exists. You're not building wealth from nothing. You're jumping into a timeline where wealth is already present. And that jump happens the moment your frequency shifts dramatically enough to match that timeline. Everything you've learned, the visualization, the thought correction, the emotional hijacking, the identity anchoring, the evidence collection, these are the tools for creating that frequency shift. So here's your invitation. Starting today, consciously choose the abundance timeline. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are better, not when you have more evidence. Today. In every moment, ask yourself, am I thinking, feeling, and acting from the scarcity timeline or the abundance timeline? Then consciously choose abundance. Make this choice hundreds of times per day until abundance becomes your automatic default. Do this consistently for 30 days and watch what happens. You won't slowly improve, you'll quantum leap. Circumstances will shift in ways that surprise you. Your internal experience will transform. You'll know beyond doubt that you've changed timelines. You're not living in the wrong timeline by accident. You've been there through unconscious habit. But you can leave through conscious choice. The abundance timeline is calling you. It's been there all along, waiting for you to tune into its frequency. Stop anchoring yourself in scarcity through your thoughts and emotions. Start choosing abundance moment by moment. Make the quantum leap. Your abundant timeline is waiting for you right now. All you have to do is shift your frequency and jump. The power has always been yours. Welcome to your new timeline. Welcome to abundance.